This is the form preview for Wyong, and once again it's Mark only, no Gord, who has been carving up, I must say, the races, and I do have some suggestions from Gord today. Wyong tomorrow, it's an ATC meeting. It's a very tiny card, but most importantly, the rail is in my favourite position at Wyong. It's true. So wide alleys, here you go. We're not going to be seeing a track that favours the inside. It's circle, it's get forward from a wide gate. Game on as far as I'm concerned at Wyong. So we kick off with a tiny field of 5 in a 72 over 1350. And Lucky Fish, that winner, is $2.40 in favourite, $3.70 Miami-Dade, the resumer, $5.50 our beatnik, $6 Vanaloquio and $11 the outsider Surfing Safari. Now, Lucky Fish does get control in this race. He's second up. He resumed at 1200 at Newcastle, and he made all, or nearly made all, to be touched off by Hesco Gold. So he crosses from his barrier 4 of 5 to lead this race. Surfing Safari kicks up to trail him on the inside. Vanaloquio could well find himself pushing forward, leaving Miami-Dade to drop sort of a sitting off pace position, and our beatnik goes back to last from the inside. Can Lucky Fish crack it for his second victory in as many starts as he's had? I just forget, he's had 16 starts. Look, he certainly gets a great chance. I won't say that his first up run covered him in glory, because he went back to the provincials for his resuming run. I would suggest that Miami-Dade resumes off a win here. Now, he did go back to the provincials. His 3 wins are over a mile, but fresh is pretty good for this Godolphin Yard gun rides, and I think he can perhaps reel in Lucky Fish. The only runner that's had his last start in town is our beatnik. Hard to recommend, although Gord thought that his trials were good enough. I'm looking at gate 1 and the fact that he really did perform poorly in 2 runs last time in. So I'm not looking for him. Vanaloquio with Karen on board, whose 4th up represents some chance, and I couldn't recommend the roughie Surfing Safari, who returned to Wyong in a very ordinary provincial race, was heavily backed and had every chance. He's a goner from mine. So 1 on top for me. Lucky Fish, the favourite, gets his chance, but I have to oppose him. Race 2 is an interesting race for 3-year-old fillies over 1,000 metres. $2.80, Once More a Lady. $5 is a surprise second favourite in my opinion. How sweet it is! I would think it would start perhaps second roughie in this race. $6.50 Party House, who's discovered her form down the line. $6.50 Brood War, $9.50 Difficult to Get, $10 Planet 6 Princess, who is an interesting stable change, and $17 All a Flutter. Now, the speed here comes from Difficult to Get, who went to 1100 last week at Gosford, didn't find herself in the right lane. Karen is positive here. Brood War is also positive. She raced in a forward position, first up at 1000 at Gosford. All a Flutter is a chance to sort of push through from her gate 3, and the others sit off them. Once More a Lady resumes here, and she resumes with a very stylish trial. She bloused them once they determined that her off-pace running was most advantageous, before she had little luck in a Canterbury race before spelling. She looks like a sit and sprint here that suits Blake Shin to ride. I'd suggest that Difficult to Get can improve coming back to the 1000. Party House is certainly somewhat dangerous after resuming at Goulburn and then going back to the 1000 at Canberra and sitting off them and blousing them, although gate 1 is not a preferred gate tomorrow. And I'd suggest that How Sweet It Is looks the soft one in the market at the moment, because she's basically got 1400 metre form and her trials are workmanlike, but I couldn't see her appeal at 1000 metres first up. Brood War, she ran into a good one first up at Gosford. She has some appeal, and that's race 2. Race 3, a 1350 metre race for 2-year-olds. And Our Mantra is the favourite at $3.50. Tangled, his opponent at Newcastle first up, is $4.60. Bidwee is $5.50. And then we're out to $9.50, the bottom one, Legal Girl. Next best would be $12, number 2, Barbary, at the unraced Gerald Ryan horse. $13, number 9, San Francisco. $15, the stablemate of number 2, which is a Akaba. And $17, Triumph Star. Also $17, the Paul Massara trained Table Mountain. Look, this is a bit of a steady race, I must say. Our Mantra looks to get forward from his middle gate. Bidwee can work forward from his wide gate. Legal Girl is not too far away. Triumph Star, ditto. And San Francisco, now the veteran of 2 starts, looks to perhaps poke forward from a wide gate. Look, the lead-up race is the ATC meeting at Newcastle a fortnight back, where Our Mantra resumed. Tangled also resumed. He's been back to the trial since. Sorry, it was 3 weeks ago. And Tangled looks a likely type, although he hasn't shown any speed in his 2 runs, and that for me is a black mark. Whereas Our Mantra worked forward to chase the leader to the turn, and he boxed on well. He looks the testing material. Bidwee and Tangled are certainly dangers in this race, in what looks a weak race. Honourable mention to San Francisco, who ran in a particularly fast maiden at home at Newcastle last time, and I guess Legal Girl was probably in the wrong lane in the ground, and up to 1350 on a drier track, Karen to ride. I can see why she's in the market. But number 1, Our Mantra, the horse to get through there in race 3. Race 4, we're back to the short course, 1,000 metres. Postmaster General is not our favourite. In fact, the Waller train number 6, Best Guess, is the favourite at $3. Postmaster General, the winner of 2 short course races at Wyong, is $3.20. $6.50 Palladian, $7.50 Pedway, $11 Good Time Charlie, $11 Dissolute, long odds the bottom 2. Now this looks a particularly competitive race because we had Best Guess finding some good figures last week at Gosford, but when the rail was out and he found the bunny. Postmaster General will also be looking for the lead, and I'd suggest that Pedway is searching forward, as is Halliday Road from his inside gate, and Solo Gypsy has some toe, and in fact all of them have some speed to recommend them. So I thought this was a race where we're looking for a sit and sprinter, and number 2 Good Time Charlie, who won a pretty ordinary maiden before spelling, but looks the sort of horse that will relish this configuration. I'd suggest that Dissolute has some claims as well. I know that Gord is particularly keen on Palladian, who returns as a gelding here. And Postmaster General and Best Guess for mine, both last start winners, both leading all the way, look to be slightly out of their comfort zone. So bear that in mind. I think this is a race that's a bit up for grabs. Pedway has been back to the trials after bucking out of the gates there at Newcastle before leading them up at 1200. He's back in distance. His wins at the short course at Hawkesbury, but once again, another horse that I think needs to control. That's the midway point of this ATC program at Wyong. I'll be back with part 2 for the back half of the card.